Thank you, Tim. So good morning, everybody. As Tim says, I'm Emily Smith. I'm Knowledge Transfer Manager for the Cereals and Oilseeds Knowledge Exchange team. So today I want to talk to you about our Farm Excellence platform. And this brings together 4 areas of work for Cereals and Oilseeds. This is the Monitor Farm Programme, the Strategic Farms, the arable business groups, and technical events such as today. So I won't dwell on obviously what we're doing here today, but as Tim's already mentioned, we have other technical events throughout the year, including the Agronomists conference in December. But really I want to talk to you about some of those knowledge exchange activities. So firstly, the Monitor Farms and our newly launched Strategic Farm as well. So this shows you the geographical spread of our Monitor Farm programme. So the Monitor Farm programme is an initiative that has come across to the UK from New Zealand. We've had it in Scotland for a number of years, but we introduced it into England and Wales back in 2014. So you'll see from these images here that the programme is a 3-year programme, and it's a rolling programme for us in the UK, and you'll see that the first phase has just come to an end in March of this year. You'll also see we've got a question mark on phase 5. That's not because we're questioning doing it or not. It's a very valuable programme, and it is continuing. It's that we don't know where they are yet. So the recruitment of these farms, which I'll talk a bit more about in a moment, is starting this winter. So come April next year, we'll be launching phase 5 of the farms. So before I talk to you more about the Monitor Farms, I just wanted to introduce the rest of the team. So this is the Cereals and Oilseeds Knowledge Exchange team, headed up by Tim and supported by Louise, who is our coordinator. So you'll see on your right-hand side of the slide, these are the Knowledge Exchange Managers. So there's 7 regions, and they cover a region each. And they are responsible for the on-the-ground activity, the facilitation of these KE programs. So I am on the left-hand side, Knowledge Transfer Manager, supported and worked closely with Fiona Geary, who's here today as well. And our job really is to join up this network across these 7 regions and get these key messages out there to people who don't necessarily come to the meeting, so benefiting that wider agricultural industry. So I'm just going to talk through the Monitor Farm programme to start with and how we go about building this programme on each of our farms. So it obviously starts with our monitor farmer. He or she applies to be a monitor farmer for 3 years. So it's a 3-year programme. They don't get paid. There's no financial benefit as such as to being a monitor farmer. But the idea is that we focus on their business, and the idea being that they can improve their business throughout the programme, make some informed decisions based on the work that we do with them through the 3 years. Part of that is they have to open up their books, so we look at cost of production, and they open up their books to the community group, who often challenge them on the decisions they're making, and they obviously have to justify the decisions they're making. Could it be buying a new tractor? One of our monitor farmers up in the Black Isle, up in Scotland, said when he finished, it was really that justification. He knew if he wanted to go and buy a new tractor or go and spend some money on whatever, he had to stand up in front of the group and justify why he was doing it and what benefit that would bring to his business. And it's that peer-to-peer learning, that farmer-to-farmer learning that's really critical here. So we have a monitor farmer. He or she is supported by our facilitators. That's one of our 7 regional managers, our KE managers in the regions. And they're also supported not only by them, but also what we call the Monitor Farm Steering Group. So that will include their farm agronomist and a number of local farmers. So it's normally made up of about 4 to 5 people, including AHDB staff. And they play a key role. The steering group plays a key role in this programme. So the programme is all about farmer-led, farmer-driven, and it's to develop and discuss local issues and solutions so that they can be delivered on farm. So it's about discussing these solutions and these issues and coming up with these solutions so they're relevant and practical. And aside from that, I mentioned one of the 4 components of the Farm Excellence platform is what we call the arable business group. And I've mentioned that the host farmer has to open up their books. So this is benchmarking, and some of the steering group, most of the steering group probably, and then a few additional farmers making up a group of about 10 to 12 will form this arable business groups. They will meet outside of the open monitor farm meetings, and they will all discuss their cost of production. So we have our farm bench system that is launching at the moment that they use to do this. So that really drills down in some of the details of that cost of production through fixed cost, variable costs, and what kind of things that they can do to manage those and bring that cost of production down. So as I said, the Monitor Farm programme is very much a farmer-led, farmer-driven. So that steering group come up with those ideas, and then AHDB resource the speakers, the venues, catering, all that side of things, to facilitate this farmer-to-farmer learning. The next step that we're moving towards at the moment through the launch of our strategic farms that I mentioned earlier is integrating this research and practice through knowledge exchange. So I'm just going to talk for a few minutes about how we do this. So just to give you an idea of some of the topics that we look at on the monitor farms and then going forwards onto the strategic farms, this is just an overview of the topics that we've covered in the last 3 years. So you'll see that lots of it focuses around soil. Around 20% of the meetings we have over the last 3 years have had soil in the title. It's obviously a very hot topic. Around another 20% has looked at things like cover crops and tillage. So again, very much soil related, and how farmers can manage it to improve their systems. So as I said, we get experts out into the field, and it's all about practical messages and hands-on learning. So this is a very typical monitor farm meeting. So they can bring some of that research learnings out into the field. We can help farmers identify depths of compaction, depths of rooting, where water is being held up, and the practical solutions to those problems that they can achieve. Not only do we recognise that there's experts that we can bring in, say, from research organisations or universities, but these guys are the experts as well. And that's not just farmers. I've got some data later on in the presentation that will show these groups are made up of agronomists like yourselves, machinery manufacturers, seed people, grain merchants, a whole cross-section of the industry come to these meetings and really value this independent forum for discussion. So we recognise that both sides are experts, and there's something that we can learn from everybody there. So that's more the knowledge exchange side. That's a very classic knowledge exchange image that you'll see. And part of what we do as well, I mentioned that we work on the knowledge transfer side. So Fiona and I, our job is to bring together these key messages. And it's still about farmer to farmer learning. So this is a very classic knowledge transfer output. So case studies from the monitor farms, so that people can pick up these case studies and learn something from them. It might just be the principles of what they've been doing. So obviously every farm is different across the geographical spread of the UK, different conditions, different rotations, different soil types. But farmers can learn something from other farmers and take confidence that other farmers have tried it and what they've found. So I mentioned the strategic farm earlier, and I just want to bring it to your attention that the launch meeting of our first strategic farm is on the 1st of November. So you can register online. Everybody's free and welcome to come. Just to give you a bit of a background, so Brian Barker is our strategic farmer over in Stowmarket. He was our former monitor farmer at Stowmarket as well. So it's a legacy of the programme that he can then transition and become a strategic farmer. So you'll see on the slide there's a list of questions that we're looking at on the strategic farm. And the idea of the strategic farm is taking it that one step further. So the farmer-to-farmer learning is great on the monitor farm, and that's a really important part of it. But the strategic farm is taking it a step further and demonstrating innovative research in practice. So other farmers can come along and see some of this research that they've heard about put into practice in a commercial way. So we developed these questions by a process of collecting what we call knowledge gaps from the monitor farms. So say we had a meeting on soils like you saw in the soil profile pit. Farmers might still have questions, and we've collected those questions and presented them to the strategic farm and said, so in a similar way they have a steering group as well. and said to them, alongside the research we do, how can we answer some of these questions? What can we do in the next 6 years? So it's a 6-year programme for the strategic farmer. What can we do in the next 6 years that can help answer some of these questions that are coming out of the Monitor Farm programme? So we've got our first one, as I said, launching the 1st of November in the East, and then we'll have a programme that rolls out another one next year, so 2018, and a third farm in 2019. So keep your eyes open. Obviously, they'll be distributed across the UK. So if I haven't convinced you already that the Farm Excellence platform is something to get involved with, I've got some data here. So every year we do a survey of the Monitor Farm programme, and we use it to improve what we're doing and build the programme more. So we send out a paper-based and online survey to every attendee that has come to a meeting, and you'll see that the majority of people that come to meetings are local farmers. But a really important part of the whole programme, as I said, is that interaction between different people within the industry. So you'll see you're represented here, as well as traders, the business group members, and obviously the steering group members attend. But we get a really good cross-section of the industry that come and discuss these solutions. Just to give you an idea of the commodities that are grown and that people work with, so it's again a good cross-section of different crops. So it's predominantly, obviously, cereals and oilseeds, so predominantly arable, but we do touch on other sectors as well. And obviously, an arable rotation often includes, various sectors, and increasingly, actually, something we're seeing is people including livestock in the rotation. So there's lots of lessons that we can learn from different sectors. And we asked people to rate how well they agreed with different statements in this survey. So hopefully, I don't know how well you can see it from where you're sat, but in your handouts you'll be able to see that it's a really positive programme. People really value the time that they spend at the meetings. It helps them with their decision making, improves their technical knowledge. And again, coming back to that non-commercial environment, it's a really good way of farmers and agronomists alike getting together and discussing everything related to the industry. So these are statements pulled specifically from the surveys that relate to what agronomists have said and how they value the time that they spend coming to the meetings, and how important it is to understand that local relevance that they can use when discussing things with their growers, and how you can apply some of the research things that we've heard about this morning into that local relevant situation. So just a heads up, these are the up and coming meetings next month. So you can find all of the meeting dates across the Farm Excellence platform for all the different events on our website. If you follow me on Twitter, I often put up these at the beginning of the month. If not, you can find your local farm, get in touch with your local knowledge exchange manager, get on their mailing list, and then you'll automatically receive the meeting invites for the different events. So you can see we've got a selection of meetings coming up across the next month, but these meetings run for us on the Monitor farms. They run primarily from the end of October through to January, February time. And then we have summer meetings as well. So it's around 4 to 5 meetings a year spread across the winter season, as we call it, and then the summer open day. So there's lots of opportunity to get involved, get out on farm, and meet lots of farmers. So hopefully that's given you an overview of what we do. I'll be around for the rest of the day, so if you've got any specific questions, obviously can chat throughout the day. But as I said, you can find out more information online and just get in touch and get involved. Thank you.